Welcome everyone to another breaking news. You might have heard another good old-fashioned paper presses. Linus Torvalds warns from using the Linux kernel because of memory corruption. Just recurring theme here. Raise your hand if you are surprised. Recurring theme here. What could possibly go wrong in a mostly single address based monolithic kernel that is the Linux kernel, especially with the random API and code shuffling of 30 years later. What did break? They broke swap, fix, swap file, read, write, offset. This kind of trivial things. I wanted to make a news already some days ago when it was already. So you see, I'm not even jumping like instantly on each little breadcrumb they leave there in terms of broken stuff. The good thing is that I didn't shout this out some days ago, because it turns out maybe the stable curse, because all the news, so that is the difference between random news sites of educated guesses. There, all the news sites shout this out for 5.12, release candidate 1, even renamed to don't use, because see, we got this, obviously not. And swapping still happened, even here on this channel, right? Previous video, 96 GB, not enough for not terminating Rust C with LVM there on ARM. So what surprises me more, which is like, I was thinking, do I make a YouTube live stream? Is it too much? Is it too much hashtag peak bugs, not only in macOS, but also Linux, BSD, Windows and stuff? But as it is now unstable, which surprises me, so it's not entirely clear. So 5.11.4, I tried to review this a couple of minutes, but as nobody freaking pays me for this stuff, like YOLO, whatever. For me, it's not entirely sure if what they do there, if this was even necessary, or because if this change, the original change was from just January. So yeah, whether stable is affected or not, you better probably wanna use the latest .4 if they have not broken something else. So what happened? Turns out here's a fix, swap file, read, write, offset. Super trivial stuff, right? Just some freaking offset. For those who are new to this in-depth stuff, we have storage devices, previously rotating magnetic storage stuff called hard drives nowadays, SSDs of solid state drives, and there you seek and read, write data. And what they did wrong in a recent code refactoring just this January, apparently, because obviously after 30 years you still need to shuffle and refactor all your APIs and codes around. What could possibly go wrong? Recurring theme here, obviously breaking stuff. And so they got this offset wrong, right? So this super trivial stuff, maybe only swap files affected, which ironically is also what I'm using. Also on BetterFS, ironically, doesn't support that directly mapped files or so. So on BetterFS, it actually works with a performance decreasing workaround of loopback mounting. This is also Linux kernel, right? It doesn't work directly, need to loopback device that, YOLO, whatever, then it freaking works. Also 1% slower, but who freaking cares? But anyway, maybe this loopback thing is what me personally saved me from this data corruption, because what happened is not the read, write, offset of the start of the swap file or something. So read and writing over random other data there. Exactly this kind of stuff that you want to have in your 30 years in development, industry leading 10,000 eyes reviewed. This stuff certainly totally bug-free. The original commit, so how does it look? The commit looks like this, as we want to take a look here a little bit, not like other news sites of like something happened. So the fix for this is a new function, swap page sector. Previously swap page sector, just page file index page with page shift. It's obviously open coded -9, because obviously everyone remembers in the top of their head what they shift there around with page shift of 4K pages or whatnot. By the way, fun check. Probably we should. This was 9, right? Was it? Oops, also this was wrong focus. But yeah, so 9. So to the power of 9 probably does it happen. This is 512. Obviously it's 500. This is exactly why you have the magic numbers, right? Because obviously, so page shift, probably this is 4K pages or something, minus 512 sectors or something. But yeah, this is just a wild guess because obviously this is in 30 years later totally the most readable and most amazing code. So yeah, this is page file page. So the fix for that is a new function also from page.io to swap file, and then page swap info page sector offset. So apparently here we still have the good old page shift -9, obviously, because totally makes sense. Anyway, even for me, yeah, you see this on the first glance, right? Yeah. The commit, I checked this, introducing this remove get swap block.io, just reuse the block device sector from swap info structure, just as used by swap synchronous path. Also removes the checks for null return from block.io, because this can't happen for sleeping allocations. It's like, yeah, YOLO, whatever, what could possibly go wrong? Signed off, reviewed, act, and signed off by very prominent people. Yet it's like, yeah, so this is the original thing of deleting this function, because obviously it's so easy, and it's like, yeah, if you were wondering where your random file system corruption comes from. So what could you do better? In my opinion, certainly not have there some page shift -9, because obviously everyone immediately knows what that is. Makes this a little bit readable. Obviously also comments. Comments are also probably a thing of the past, I heard, not the future. And last but not least, clear code domains, not YOLOing, aka you only live once, and like fiddling around with offset and page allocations all over the place. Clear API boundaries, so that your swap file stuff does not like meth behind the file system in your block device directly, without any bound checking, without any file allocation checking, because nah, YOLO, whatever. What could possibly go wrong? Turns out, yes, quite a bit. 30 years later, of the most famous people reviewing, implementing, and shipping that for you with love from the Linux Foundation. And in case you were wondering why I'm still freaking fantasizing of my vaporware microkernel needs to be rewritten. Of course, yeah, microkernel slower, yes. Would you trade 5% performance penalty for more clear address-based domains, API domains of like, yeah, not YOLOing stuff on the behind the back of the file system directly on the block device? Leave me in the comments below. I certainly rather sacrifice 5, if not 10 performance for way more reliable, trustworthy, unbreakable computing in this day and age. But this might only be me. Maybe some people want performance and rather corrupting random stuff. Anyway, this is a detailed look on this stuff. I tried to find out, I didn't directly within 50 minutes, and then it's like, yeah, whatever. I tried to find out when this was introduced unstable. A little bit surprised for me that this makes it unstable when it was potentially not unstable, but maybe it's also unstable, who knows. Yeah, I certainly could. This is of course the difference between quality code review stuff. I spent some minutes reviewing this for our own stuff, but eventually it's also like, yeah, whatever. Recurring theme of customers and users totally not paying for open source, and then that's what you get. We have some comments, so yeah, if you're still running, if you're still wondering, so it's like, yeah, cheers. People liked it in the, so how do you do with your single address space? Single address space, monolithic Linux kernel written in C. I have not much more to say. Anyway, so let's the day start. We have some other stuff to do. Let's take a quick look into the comments. Solaris something, use Solaris not. Yeah, the problem is this is also vintage C and whatnot. Debian GNU hurt. Yeah, Debian GNU hurt. I would use Debian GNU hurt if that would not be so feature. Probably I could, if I spent 1 year writing a microkernel, it's probably more performant and more feature rich than GNU hurt. Like 64-bit SMP and larger than 4 GB partitions or something. People in OpenDay Solaris, roll your own. Yes, that's what we are planning to do. Modern hardware, which Solaris, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, there you have it. Probably better go out, update your servers. And I hope you learned something, and to see you for the next videos, live streams. There's also the More Life channel and Patreon and membership to support our news and code efforts. More comments 2021. Still dealing with overrated coding practices. Yeah, comments and APIs and like memory safety are for VIMs. It's like, yeah, not for real men writing the Linux kernel, because